In this video, we're going to be looking at the shocks on this truck. I'll let you guys in on the shocks that I use, mostly stock, but I'm also going to show you guys the ramps that I use. We're going to do a little bit of testing, and then we're also going to look at some GoPro mount ideas that I have, and then I'm going to just get you guys up to speed on the truck. So for comparison, they're about 3/4 of the height of the tire, which isn't that big, but it's enough to show off the suspension and just give you guys an idea where I'm at. It's just some plywood on a 2x4 there. I've got these jumps at about a truck's length. Before we get into the testing, just let's take a real quick look at the shocks. It's basically stock, but I do have these other shocks. So the front setup is a bit weird. I've got slash rear shocks on here with, I think, one full spacer and a half spacer. That's 2/4 spacers. But on the other side, it's a full spacer and a half spacer or a quarter spacer, but yeah. And then on the back here, I'll see if I can get a better angle. But that's a shock that I got. I believe it's Power Up Racing 100mm, and then a stock slash rear shock. Grab my tripod real quick. Alright, so you can see it's hard for me to line it up because if I'm not standing directly behind it, it's difficult to see where the jump is. It's hard to get that perspective. I'm just going to go over it a few times here. Yeah, you can see I'm on the right side a bit too far. Yeah, you can see I have it set up for jumping bigger jumps and stuff like that. But overall, I think it handles it pretty well. It's just a bit too stiff for these small little jumps. Overall, I think it's pretty good though. Here's another angle of the jump. I think it's good to look at these from different angles and some in slow motion too, because it just gives you a good perspective of the kind of jumps that you're doing and how the shocks are responding and whatnot. I'll do a few speed runs as well after this so that you guys can see the power this truck has. You can get its power down pretty well. It's much better than I thought it would be when I was welding it and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. One, if you want to call it, issue with the truck is probably just the open differential in the back there, that when I brake, it just wants to roll or spin out. So you can see in this shot that it just kind of spins around and whatnot. So I think we're done with these jumps here. Let's go and take a look at some ideas I have for GoPro mounts. Here we go, we've got the GoPro in the truck here. I'm using a GoPro Hero 7 Black. It's pretty good, 4K. I usually run 2.7K, 120 frames per second. It's pretty good, smooth, slow motion. I've got a few ideas here for where to mount it. I was thinking on the back here because it gets the cage and the body there, but it's not that strong. It doesn't fully grab the cage. It's pretty awkward to get on. Once you've got it on, it's not that bad, but I do think that when you're driving it, you would see a lot of the bumps, and I want something directly mounted onto the cage. I'm tempted to weld some tabs onto the cage to mount the GoPro onto. You can see that it'll come off pretty easily, and that is a problem. On the back here too, I have a spot that I think I could mount it. I want a weld sling on there to hold it better. I could even weld like a GoPro mount part of it on. That'd be pretty cool too. That'd be a nice angle, but again, definitely wouldn't stay on. I also wanted an angle on the front here of the front suspension, but I don't think I can find a way to get it on there unless I weld something permanently onto the front, which is not my ideal choice, to have an extra GoPro mount there on the front. You will also see a lot of mud on the truck here. I've done a few long hikes with this truck and it's performed quite well. I did 5K with one 2-cell, I'm not sure what the milliamp was, but it did pretty good. One thing I'm noticing a lot from the first suspension tests that I did on this truck when it wasn't completely finished is that now it has a lot more weight on it, and it seems like it's putting a lot more on the shocks and the chassis than it was previously. It seemed like it was a bit lighter last time. That's about it for this video. as always, if you enjoyed, let me know in the comments. If you didn't, let me know what I can improve on. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.